In Los Angeles, 24 hours of rage. Tonight, America's second largest city will be under curfew. The National Guard has been called out because 4 white policemen were not convicted for doing this to Rodney King.
It's almost hard to imagine 18 years later this happening in a city. What set it off?
Following this verdict, which many people objected to, what came to be called the LA Riots, what other people called the LA Uprising, began in the streets of South Central Los Angeles.
The murder and destruction in the streets of Los Angeles last night and today must be stopped.
This was serious violence, serious energy of one kind or another.
Certainly, the cops were exerting a great amount of violence on Rodney King, and the verdicts that followed, which said not guilty, prompted people in the street to exert a great deal of violence.
They told me what I saw on television did not happen. And I am infuriated that they would think that I am ignorant enough not to know what I saw.
Oftentimes when people talk about the riots, they talk only about what the people were doing in the streets. But I think we have to look at the fact that these people in the streets saw what they considered to be a miscarriage of justice. So there was a violent action on video that prompted ultimately violent action in the streets.
Everybody's saying this videotape, but these officers have a job to do, and in doing that job, they have to be given a certain amount of reasonable, and that's what this is, reasonable force.
How different are things 18 years later? I mean, how different is 2010 from 1992?
We elected an African-American president in 2008, and of course this seems to have brought up a lot of racial attitudes that, hadn't been so visible and present since that time. So we've moved a long way away in some instances, and I think in other instances some things are still the same.
Could it happen again? Could this happen next week? Sure,
it could happen tomorrow. We have a lot of issues in our society that are complicated and controversial, and in many cases violence is the outcome, whether it be racial, whether it be around other issues. We have a history of violence in this country, and we can't get away from that.
So some progress on some fronts, but also some peril to be aware of.
That's the way history works. We move forward, but sometimes in the process of moving forward, people take a few steps back.
All right, Dr. Boyd, thank you so much for this.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.